It's June 12th, 2019, and you are tuned in to Pro Wrestling Unscripted here on the Podzilla 1985 Network. My name is Shannon Young. With me tonight, Asa Gray, the 5-star man.
Yes.
Ali Abear.
Hello.
And Blake Gloria himself, the Big D, Dalton Anthony.
I hate you.
Hey, oh. We again, we said this on the pre-show. I know there are a lot of people out there that are big fans, so I'm gonna tell you where we are right now.
I don't know. Part of me is like borderline spoilery. Like
For the Blues game?
yeah.
Okay, if you're a Blues fan,
If
and the game's
or if
over
you
and
act
you
like
don't know who won, then you shouldn't be listening to this.
It's almost
no one's listening to this show
It's
first.
almost like people might have to like work or like aren't able to watch it the second something happens live.
But you don't think they would check their phone
A
or
lot of
something?
times-
I mean, if they want to avoid it, they don't check their phone.
A lot of sports fans, though, if they're busy, they're checking scores because
Every
they
time.
just
Which is
They
easier, which
wanna
is
know.
which is fair. I just like
But I mean, we're not giving away the ending. All I'm saying is that right now is the end of the first period.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2-0 Blues. And so if you are a Blues fan and you're listening to this, and I'm going somewhere with this, I really am. I want to know, I'm curious where we are now. As you're listening to this, what happened? Did the Blues win? Did the Blues lose? Is Cape Girardeau burning? Like, what is happening? Because as of right now, it's up in the air still, but by the time you listen to this, it will be over. See, Dalton, that's called time travel. And if you call my friend Calvin Abear on the
going
phone,
home.
he'll explain to you how time travel works. He explained it to me once.
Oh, yeah, because technically we are traveling through time as we speak.
You got to get lower to the ground.
Oh,
and then
it's
time slows down.
Oh, gotcha. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's why Danny DeVito looks timeless.
Oh, because he's so short?
Yes, for sure.
Marco's going to live
that's
forever.
not true though. Because have you seen Danny DeVito? He's-
It depends on where you see him. If you see him in It's Always Sunny, he looks super rough. But when he's like on the red carpet, he doesn't look as bad. It's the way they make him do his hair in that show and the glasses makes him look a lot worse.
yeah, but like,
But have you seen him in Batman?
but have you seen like the white hair?
He needs
Like
to dye it black.
he's like look at you could have used Keanu Reeves as an example
Yeah, but Danny
because he
DeVito's
is literally immortal.
Oh, you mean that dude from Fortnite?
No, the dude from 1400. Like, I'm pretty sure he's a vampire, but he feeds on wholesomeness.
Yeah, but Danny DeVito, I think, is 2 or 3 years older than Keanu Reeves, so that's a joke because Keanu Reeves is still pretty young. Hey, it's wrestling here on the Podzilla 1985 Network, and if you're thinking, well, this has nothing to do with wrestling, clearly you don't remember the Trash Man.
Also,
Let it sink in.
Chris Jericho's father played for the Blues, so
Full
it's
circle.
all tied together.
Plus, there was a wrestler, Dalton, in WWF called
The Goon?
The Goon.
Yeah.
So, hockey and wrestling, they kind of have a thing.
Goon, also fantastic movie.
Oh, with Sean William Scott?
Sean William Scott, fantastic in American Pie.
I
No,
really
it
thought you were
wasn't.
going to say The
No, it
Rundown with The Rock.
That was a much better movie. Who was a wrestler? Who was a
Yeah.
wrestler? The Rock. Yeah. Okay. Well, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to some official news. First off, I want to mention this because Sean Spears will be appearing at CCW pretty soon. Was it the August show or the July show? I
It's the
forget.
July.
Next month.
July
It's the
anniversary show. Well, Sean Spears today officially signed with AEW. Now, Sean Spears, that is the former Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10, will be going to AEW. He's all elite now, but hopefully this doesn't interfere with the CCW booking. I'm assuming it doesn't because they've been really cool about letting people do that.
Like honoring prior commitments, and not everybody's exclusive. Like there are, very Dean Ambrose is the
Moxley,
that's going to take
It's
a
gonna
minute.
take-
I wasn't being
No, I
wasn't
know,
being
and I
shitty.
appreciate that because if I'm not corrected, I will continue to just do that. Moxley is the IWGP US
If
champion.
the G1's telling you anything, then
Yeah.
there's some people that will be able to work more than one.
Yeah, Chris Jericho was over there. Looks like that's probably going to end up being a rematch.
What's
so,
funny?
Well, like I saw your reply to my comment, and I was like, okay. But then I saw Asa's, and then I laughed because it's
because
Lisa.
I'm funnier than you.
It's Lisa Simpson, and that always gets my.
I'm
giggle.
perfect.
Yeah.
I am the perfect 10. He's actually retired that gimmick and has given it to me. I've doubled my star power.
Are you going to tell him that?
I mean, I don't need to because
No.
he knows.
But if
There's
you
no-
were...
right, there's no point in him and like bringing it up again.
Oh,
you
so
know?
like if I said, hey, this is the guy you gave the gimmick to, he would be like, yeah.
Probably.
Oh,
Did you know that if you put an N at the end of Perfect 10, it spells perfection?
I hate you so much.
I just realized that.
I hate you so much.
Like, so congratulations to Sean Spears, and they're really building up that AEW roster. It's hot. It really is. It's hot. They've got a lot of great young talent, and we're gonna get a chance to see if Sean Spears, if it was a flash in the pan, or if he's really got the goods. Allie, what do you think? Does he got the goods, or is he just the next Milli Vanilli?
He's got the goods. That's a weird thing to say.
I think it's one of those things where it's just like he's such a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And we are seeing it's this really weird trend, like looking at social media, and like more and more people seem to be like actively talking about like just they want to wrestle. They don't really care about what position they're in. They don't care if they're losing, if they're not the world champion. They just want to wrestle.
So-
you have Cedric Alexander, for example,
saw
on
him,
Twitter
yeah.
say, "I swear I can still wrestle, guys," because he got drafted off of 205 Live and hasn't had a single match
No, he had one.
on main event.
No, he did a match on Raw whenever he got drafted.
Did he?
Yeah, against Cesaro. It was the night of Mortal Kombat 11. Because remember, I said I'm really pissed off because I literally left
Oh.
right before that aired.
Okay, yeah. So, so he's had one match.
Yeah, but he's been in nonstop 24/7 title contention.
Oh, which why would you even want that championship? Like, look what R-Truth is going through. Like,
He's
It'll
stuck. He's
magically
literally.
be-
What, is he? He's stuck in a cargo.
a cargo container, yeah.
Right now, yeah.
But so you have like, you have someone who, Cedric Alexander especially, the reason he's part of your company is because he was so good at wrestling, the crowd chanted,
Sign him.
sign Cedric, and then Triple H came out and was like, you know what? Yeah, you're good at wrestling. And then they let him wrestle real good on 205 Live for a while, and then,
He got upgraded.
yeah, sure did. I mean, I'm sure he's getting paid more, but like,
So a weird thought that hit me, and I'm wrong about it, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm wrong. I was thinking about Jim Cornette the other day, and I know we were talking about him earlier, and not per se Jim Cornette specifically, but just the idea of I'm an old school wrestling fan. I hate this new stuff. I hate the gimmicky stuff. I hate the blow up dolls, that kind of stuff. And I was thinking about the time that the quote unquote real wrestling fans were so upset at like WWE because they wouldn't let them say the word wrestler. They're superstars. No, it's wrestling. We're so proud of wrestling. And are these the same people that are like watching Invisible Men and blow up dolls? Like it, and I'm trying to, and like in my brain, I'm like, okay, there's a disconnect there somewhere. Like I don't know what I'm trying to say really. Just, can you be upset for WWE for not using words like wrestler and not embracing wrestling, and at the same time be a fan of like this way over the top, clearly like ridiculous,
yes, absolutely. Because
wrestling?
because it's not anti-wrestling, it's wrestling. It's just a style. It's a different style of wrestling than what you like. But you can't call it not wrestling.
But you could be upset at the term superstar versus wrestling.
I don't think those are connected at all.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to
you're
tell my brain where the disconnect
arguing-
is.
What in the goddamn hell are you talking about?
I don't know.
It's the
This-
Eric
this was-
Andre.
This was in the middle, literally in the middle of a fevered dream, and I woke
I can
up.
tell.
I woke up with the question of like, wait, can you be mad for not using the term wrestling because you're proud of wrestling, but at the same time you like this really over the top weird stuff? Like
Again-
it's almost like the term wrestling is a pure term, like it's the purity of wrestling, and then to also be a fan of this stuff that is clearly not in the spirit of what is considered classical pure wrestling.
Again, like that. Yes, very much so, because it's just a different style of wrestling. The Irish Whip is a nonsensical, insane thing.
Yeah, and also like what you're arguing is a style of wrestling over a company that's made money off of wrestling distancing themselves away from wrestling.
in
like-
in
In name, in
name.
terminology,
Yeah.
yes.
Because like the superstar thing was in retaliation to WCW. WWE wasn't the first one to do that.
Yeah.
They weren't wrestlers, they were stars. WWE wanted to one up them, so they have stars, we have superstars. And that just
and divas versus women's wrestlers and stuff
Well,
like
that was
that.
just-
Divas
was just poor.
bad. Yeah, that was just marketing. And was
Yeah.
and like same thing with like knockouts. Like
Yeah.
it was in retaliation of WWE has divas, we have knockouts.
Do they not use that term anymore?
No, they still do, because it's still like the knockouts championship.
Maybe. I haven't watched Impact
But the
in
good
a
thing
while.
about and I know we're so drifting off topic here, but the good thing about knockouts is it's a good double meaning,
Right.
Whereas a knockout is in look how gorgeous they are, but at the same time it's knockout.
Tessa Blanchard will
They'll-
murder you.
They'll knock you out. Whereas diva, it really only goes like
It's like drama.
one way. Yeah, yeah, they're total divas. Speaking of women wrestlers, Mickie James has a torn ACL.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Was this a match?
I think it
was it a
was
house show?
I think it was at a house show or live
Okay.
event. So yeah, when we don't have any kind of like time frame. This was just one of the earlier stories that I found like early in the week, and put it on there. But there haven't been a whole lot of like news coming out of it, like if she's had surgery or anything, or if she's going to require surgery, stuff like that. Because like she wasn't actively being used on the roster, so they just kind of quietly took her off TV. And it's crazy to think that Mickie James just wasn't being used. So when she got this injury, like no one noticed.
Well, that's like for
Like,
me. That's
what
like
the hell?
Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah,
I can't think of the last time I saw Shelton Benjamin. He wrestled.
He was in the
he wrestled
50, he was
Seth.
well that and he was in the Battle Royal on Friday.
I remember the Seth match because that was with was Heyman out
Yeah,
there?
it was Heyman.
Yeah,
Like, and it was like, ooh, if they did something with like Shelton and Brock as a team, like that could be awesome.
because they
Yeah.
were a team down in OVW, weren't they?
Yep.
Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
And they were a fantastic team. Like
That's
that
whenever
is
Brock was still doing the Shooting Star properly.
that was a gorgeous team. So that would have been very cool. But yeah, it's a shame you have somebody like Mickey James who's such a great wrestler
And that-
such a. Every time I say that term tonight, I'm gonna like.
And it kind of goes
Something
back
in my
into like it wraps back into of just let these really good wrestlers wrestle. Like, I mean, yeah, there's main event and stuff like that, but then you have like people like Tyler Breeze who are just, again, that NXT match pissed me right off because
Yeah.
it's like he's this good and we haven't gotten to see anything like that in 4 years.
It goes back to the thing I was kind of talking about last week, where if you're watching WWE strictly for the storylines, watch better TV. Like, they're substantially better storyline. If you're watching strictly for storylines, if you're watching a wrestling show, you should want to watch wrestling.
Right.
And
Which is what 205 Live is for, because 205 Live this week had like that
Yes.
stupid four-way.
And here's the thing, though. I don't feel like you should have to pay an extra $10 to watch wrestling on your WWE product. That wrestling should be there. I'm not saying every match should be Cesaro Ricochet, because, like, not for nothing, they've been tearing it up.
Right.
But, like, give us something.
But
Like,
also,
it
I mean,
goes
like-
back to 50 minutes before you have a match on Raw.
Which, I mean, Raw and SmackDown, though, have always been, like, that's always have been wrestling light shows.
Yeah.
For the most part. It's just gotten, for whatever reason, like, it seems like there's more of a spotlight on it. But you also are getting more and more people, like Mike Kanellis. Like, people always say WWE doesn't care about 205 Live. They don't. But who cares about it is every person who's working on the show. Those wrestlers care a lot.
And they make
also-
it count.
I also disagree with Dalton on the whole. If you're watching a wrestling show for the story, watch better TV. Like, there's something different about wrestling because you can have a bad storyline, and there are tons of them. But when you have wrestlers that you're invested in and people you like, seeing them in those situations and interacting with other wrestlers, there's something special about that. And I think you should never take that away from a wrestling
Plus,
show.
it's its own like special kind of medium. Like, you
Well,
don't
yeah.
get that
Yeah,
kind of.
it's
But
not
it's-
quite acting. It's not quite sports. It really is.
But it's both.
It's sports entertainment. It's a bad term, but I mean, it's real true.
But yeah, but it's one of those, like, at the end of the day, the reason that I will forever remember the William Regal Chris Jericho peeing in the tea storyline is because they had a really good WrestleMania match. Like,
Yeah.
I'll remember that. And yeah, that's a funny little footnote. That's whatever the feud was over. But at the end of the day, if they would have given me 4 months of Jericho pissing in tea, I would have been, and I was like 8. And peas was funny to me then.
But at the same time, you could flip that around and look at something like Hogan versus Sting in the build to Starrcade. The match was bad, but that build up, there's a reason that it was the most successful WCW pay-per-view because they did such a good job with the story. That's why you were invested in the NWO was the story. And the problem was unlike Regal versus Jericho, where you have this great match to pay it off, there was nothing great to pay off the story. They just had a good story and then they went hands up, you know? So I think if you can find a balance between a great story and great wrestling, that is nirvana. That is wrestling nirvana.
But boy, are they missing the mark. But boy, are they not using half of the people they have. They are becoming WCW in the 1990s.
They are 100% becoming WCW. I read about the other day.
They had over 200 active roster members.
And one of the shows, one of the most recent shows, wasn't finished until into the show. They finished the script for it. And if that is not the most WCW shit you've ever heard.
And I will say for the as far as like the roster size go, to be fair, Nitro or WCW had to fill 4 hours of TV a week. WWE now has 3 for Raw, 2 for SmackDown.
Was Thunder a 1 hour show a week? I'm sorry for
I think so.
it was 2 hours.
Was it?
Okay, then
was
they
it
had
2 hours?
5. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
No, okay,
but yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So they had 5 hours to
Yeah.
fill.
Yeah.
WWE has the 3 for Raw, the 2 for SmackDown, 1 for NXT, 1 for 205 Live, 1 for NXT UK.
Main event.
Main event. Like they are, like they've got. Are they handling their roster properly? Absolutely not. But that's what makes it even more maddening is because there are so many avenues that they could be spotlighting certain people instead of having like, okay, EC3, go out there and act like you hate life.
Well-
and he's just like, yeah, that'll be hard.
Whenever they have Roman Reigns appear on both shows, and
Yeah,
you have such a stacked roster. It's like the whole brand
Which
split
I
thing.
think this week he wasn't on any show. Lance Storm made a really great point on Twitter of just unify the titles and make them the wild card.
yeah.
Yeah.
Appear
Like
on
that's
either
what
show.
that's what we said that's what I said whenever they redid the brand split again.
Which, speaking of Raw this week did the lowest number it has ever done in
the third hour.
Yeah, it was going up against the NBA Finals, and that's a. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a big rating right there. Like the NBA Finals, that's a big thing.
That's any type of like sports thing that they always take a hit.
But this was the lowest non-holiday rating in WWE history, and you would think, oh, they're going to start getting worried, but they had their answer. Shane McMahon, he was right there the entire time,
and he's fixing it.
He's fixing it piece by piece. You remember a couple of months ago, they got in the ring and they said, "We hear you. We've heard your worries, and we're going to fix this." And they did.
For about 2 days.
It's better now than it's been in months. All right, this is the part of the show where Reverse Day is over.
Yep, there you go. I was gonna be quiet until you.
I was gonna keep going because I'm really good at pretending that I care about things.
Oh no, that's why
you should see me in church. I am nutso. Hey, this is a good story.
Ooh,
Ali is.
Sorry, just cut myself on that edge.
I'm just going after my. No, I can't make that joke on the air. Ali is donating his Super Showdown money to a charity.
Yep.
Which charity?
Charity Water.
Oh, okay. I saw the water below that, and it didn't.
It's a New York-based charity that provides all of their donations go to providing clean water to places that are without.
Cool.
So, like, that's super cool.
Like Flint.
That's
it's
in
more
Michigan?
of like it's more like third world. I'm trying to think of because there was one of their drives recently.
We heard about this story. We heard about it. Ali, I'm pointing at you. We heard about the story on the Philip DeFranco show. There was a place in another country that completely ran out of water. What do you remember? Which country that was? Because I want to say South Africa, but I don't think it was South Africa.
I don't remember this segment from the Philip DeFranco show.
I do, and I swear to God, I'm not making this up.
I mean, no, I believe you. I believe you watched it. I'm not sure I was there. Maybe I was cooking.
Yeah, it's Philip DeFranco. I'm pretty sure you were there, but it's fine. It's whatever. It's a very good thing is what he's doing is the important thing.
Yes.
Also in the news for this, Mia Yim is donating her gear to fundraise a fundraiser for Innocence Project. What is the Innocence Project?
Innocence Project is the main reason I put this on there is because like this is more of a personal story for me because Innocence Project helps people who have been wrongfully convicted get out of prison using DNA testing as well as just general trying to make changes to the criminal justice system. Because if you've ever heard me on the show, you've heard me talk about how just absolutely fundamentally broken the criminal justice system is in America.
Yeah.
So that's just another just really great cause, and it's cool to see her.
That's unexpected.
Giving, yeah, because so she's selling off Warren ring gear, and then the proceeds will go to the Project Innocence.
That's cool. That's very cool. And then there's also Sami Zayn, who's auctioning off his Rev shirt. Or offering out from Raw, I'm assuming, for the Sammy for Syria, which the Sammy for Syria was delayed on Friday. I remember hearing. Did they get that up and running?
I believe so. I'll double check that. But I'm pretty sure that they eventually had that because it was supposed to start like right on time as the Saudi Arabia show.
Right, and then something happened. It got delayed. I remember seeing him tweet about it, and that was the last I heard about it. So I didn't know if they ever got it back up and running. Which again, hopefully so, because that's really great. And there was a part of the conspiracy theorist part of me was worried that when he said, "Hey, it's being delayed," if there was some kind of like red tape that WWE was throwing their way. I didn't think that would be a thing, but again, the conspiracy theorist part of me.
It is up. It is very up.
Is that a good? It's very up, or
yeah,
is that
it's at a total raise so far is $107,814.90 of their $144,000 goal.
Nice. Did they have a date for the goal, or is it just whenever?
That might be in the video. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing it, but like I don't know if there is like a solid date. That's just what they're hoping to hit. But that's awesome. They're already at over $100,000.
Yeah, congratulations to him. That's a great cause. We'll keep up with stuff like that, of course, and report about it on here. And if you want to make donations to any of those, I don't think we have the links readily available. But
you can just search for
Syria.
Sam's Foundation or Sammy for Syria. If you want to donate, you can just text Sammy for Syria to 71777. Message and data rates apply. That's super cool. That makes me happy.
I know a guy who is very conservative, and I won't say his name. It's not somebody that's super popular around here, but he cut off his WWE network because of the Super Showdown and the fact that they wouldn't let Sami, that they were going to a place that actively hates, people like Sami Zayn. And I would like to think that WWE is going to find themselves in trouble if they're losing even their most hardcore base and people that normally you don't expect to care about these kind of things. If they're cutting their network because in protest of these kind of actions, I would hope that they're hearing this message and going, oh, maybe we made a mistake, but I know they're not. And
I renewed my network just for NXT 25, but I canceled it like on that day, and that's the note that I put because I won't resubscribe because I did it because I wasn't sure like if you were using your account, or like how many people could watch at once. So it's just like, screw it, I really want to see this one show, for NXT specifically. But yeah, I canceled it on the day of the show, and that's what I put in the note. And I'm not I won't resubscribe to it until they do something.
I haven't been subscribed in a long time, and anytime I've thought about resubscribing, the whole thing it's too bad. I can't do it. Lonnie messaged me and asked me if I had heard about Undertaker and Goldberg and what I thought of the match, and did Goldberg really knock himself out? And I explained to him that I didn't watch it, and he asked why, and I explained that due to their decision to run in Saudi Arabia and everything that had happened, that morally I just couldn't do it. And I know there's people out there that would probably say, oh, you're taking a moral high ground on this. If you take a moral high ground on this, there's lots of things you're not going to be able to do. You can't go to Walmart. You can't watch this. You can't play that. And I get it. I get that there's a billion different problems in the world.
They love to just take you down a peg.
Yeah.
How dare you care about a thing?
But this is something that I personally this is one of those things. That's one of my things. Mm-hmm. And I think it's shitty. What?
Oh, I'm the one I still have the network.
I'll
probably.
That's fine.
I'll never cancel it.
Yeah, I'm not going to criticize you for it.
I'm not going to shit on you for doing it. I'm not saying everyone should have to absolutely boycott. Yeah. Absolutely. It's just for me personally,
It's that argument we had before. Oh, not an argument, but the discussion we had before about Blizzard and do you want to not play Blizzard games anymore because you disagree with what they did? But at the same time, if enough people don't subscribe to Blizzard games, or whatever, then you're just hurting more people that are innocent. You not subscribing to the WWE Network it's not really gonna shake the system.
No.
If enough people do it, it's gonna hurt somebody. It's a bad situation to be in.
Here's the thing: they have way too much wrestling I can watch legally without having to try to find a shitty clip on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. I have I like the current day products sometimes, but
you're in it for the haul.
Yeah, I can't watch Guerrero Mysterio on good quality except for on the network, really. So. Right.
Yeah,
they kind of got me by the short and curlies on this one, guys.
And plus, it is true that literally everything that you would ever like in life, there's going to be a problem with it.
Yeah,
this is just one of those things that I have a problem with.
I fundamentally I was passively watching it. It was not a good show. I had nothing to do Friday, so I was screw it, it'll be on, and it was not good.
And so then I watched What Culture with Simon Miller. He does
it's ups and downs. Yeah,
and it was a pretty even show by his measure.
Yeah, but
say what you will. I heard is this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
And I say not good. It was, believe it or not, guys, because I know I'm probably the only person who had actually watched any of it. It wasn't equivalent to WrestleMania, even a little bit. The only match that I kind of liked was Balor Andrade, and then the Orton Triple H match was fun. The Battle Royal was the epitome of a cluster. You had too many people in there. The Seth Rollins thing, I'm over this whole Brock Lesnar thing just because now it's gotten to the point of okay, you're going to keep announcing it, which is only you're trying to spike your own ratings, but then not delivering.
And it didn't work. Well, I don't know. Did they promise it this Monday?
I didn't watch this Monday.
And the ratings were down.
Oh,
so they need to keep promising it.
And then not delivering.
It's the sign in front of the store, free games tomorrow.
Yeah, but I can watch WCCW on the network, so they got me.
Did you mean to say WCCW?
World Class Championship Wrestling, yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant WCCW or if you meant WCW. But
I can see both.
I love WCW. That was one of my favorites. I'll tell you what you can also see. Fighter Fest from All Elite Wrestling is going to be free on, I'm sorry, that's Bleacher Report Live?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the BR Live, if you have their subscription. So you still have to pay for the subscription, but there won't be an additional fee for Fighter Fest. You'll be able to watch that live.
And this is the only place to see it? On BR Live?
As far as I know, I don't think this is a pay-per-view one. I think this is you need to get the streaming, but I'm not 100%
How much is the streaming on that, we know?
It's probably $10.
Dang it.
$15 maybe. I can.
So is this
look
Fighter
it up,
Fest show? Is this a big show? Is this a main show? Or is this more like an offshoot?
This is an AEW show. This is John Moxley's first singles match for AEW. This is, they're not having the. This is going to be the Young Bucks versus Cody and Dustin.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's all.
That's
out?
going to be all out. This is going to be because I watched
because I know it's Moxley and
Janela, and then it's going to be Hangman Page versus MJF versus Jungle Boy versus Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, because that was from that segment with the
being the elite,
like following out of the championship segment with Bret Hart at Double or Nothing.
And then they on Being the Elite, they sent Nick a DVD, or they sent one of the Bucks a DVD, and he couldn't play because he didn't have a DVD player. So, and then the entire thing was in Spanish because it was the Lucha Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I don't understand Spanish. I don't know what it is. And then they did a title card, which it's going to be the Elite, the Bucks, and Omega versus the Lucha Brothers in a mystery opponent. But I don't know the other match. I know those are the 3 matches in Fyter Fest. Jericho's not going to be there because he's probably touring or something like that. Because that's been the joke now.
Yeah, because he said that
he pulled out because
didn't
of disagreements over them airing it free.
Yeah. But he was never actually booked for the show.
Yeah.
Is the bit.
But see, I didn't know that, so he got me because I saw the headline Jericho pulls out of Fyter Fest. I was like, oh god, I hope there's no trouble between him and AEW already.
I just like StarCast of just like shocker. It's not like they commented something kind of snarky.
Yeah.
Speaking of new promotions, this is exciting. Maybe Alberto El Patron. You might remember him, Allie. He was Alberto Del Rio.
Yes.
It was his destiny to start a new promotion, and he did, called Dalton Nation Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
And that begins July 11th. And you said that
Chavo
Guerrero, Chavito was in this.
He's going to be competing. Where are my notes?
You might remember Chavo
because
from
they have the card announced already. And it's because it's filming on July 11th. It's going to begin airing on Image TV on July 13th. Chavo Jr. is going to be will be there. The Lucha Brothers will be there. MVP is on the card, and also Sexy Star.
Really?
Well,
Sexy Star working for Alberto El Patron is, that's not super shocking.
Wow.
The number of comments on this news story that were, it'll be weird to see the guy no-show his own event was kind of funny.
What is Image TV? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I don't know. That's just the network that it's going on.
Like, I'm not trying to be offensive in this, but is that is that for the Hispanic market, or is that like?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about it either.
I hadn't heard anything of it. That's just the network. That's just the facts.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I also wasn't aware. I was not aware of the fact that they already had a TV deal.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have a TV deal.
This is very important.
I will not watch it. Okay.
I mean, it's one of those like Lucha Libre. I can watch.
Lucha Libre is weird, man.
There was at one point like College Dalton was all aboard. I was able to watch it. Like they had stuff on Hulu, and like they would have just enough people. Like I think X-Pac and like Helms was a part of it, and it was some organization. I could watch it, but you really have to have watched Lucha Libre your entire life, to really like understand the psychology in a lot of it.
Yeah,
because it's different.
I tried to get into Lucha Libre after WCW closed because I was a big fan of guys like La Parca and Psychosis, Juventud, guys like that. Cruiserweights. So I wanted to get more into where they came from. So I started looking up Lucha Libre stuff, and yeah, it's different. Like it was kind
it's
of
good. Like you get
it was kind of overwhelming though. Like trying to figure out like the way that they do it is so different than the way we do it here. But it was very interesting.
Yeah, watching it now, it's just like and it could just be like wrestling. Like I watch it now, and I'm like, oh, this is why I didn't understand it because everything looks different because it's all inversed from what you're used to. Because I do everything off the other side, and I'm like, oh, that's probably why it was confusing. And then I tried watching. He's like, no, it's still confusing. I thought it was just a fundamental thing. Mm-mm.
But there was that great clip of La Parca punching that guy when he tried to take his mask off.
Oh yeah, you don't dick with those guys in their masks.
Cold cocked that guy. And there was also that clip of that little person in the suit on the edge of the ring.
We saw
that on Unprofessional Wrestling a couple years back.
It's so stupid.
Oh yeah, no. And then Vampiro saying, "Play my fucking music."
White boy.
No, that's not that. He wasn't doing
Play
Wild
my
Cherry.
fucking music, white boy.
Was that part of Botchamaniacs? I feel like it should have been.
It should be now.
Yeah.
I'm giving them gold. There's a new SmackDown logo, which is going to go in whenever they go to Fox, right? Mm-hmm. Which, from what I understand, the rumor is that Renee Young is going to host the new FS1 show for WWE, too. That would be very cool.
So it'd be like what we do on Wednesdays, or what Ace and Ally do on Wednesdays.
CCW Live?
Yeah, it's
yeah,
be
but with production, money, script.
Wait,
people,
they're getting paid?
people to help. No, they pay them.
Oh, okay.
Like Renee Young has a fee she has to pay.
Oh,
to do it, yeah.
to show up.
So yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky. They waive that fee. Chad Gable moved to 205 Live. That's a great move for him.
Yes, now again, this just ties into the let wrestlers wrestle, because Chad Gable is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Fight me.
And it's one of those.
Not Chad Gable, fight me. No, thank you. Just internet who disagrees with me, fight me.
What do you think of his new look?
I liked the long hair, and like, I don't know, he looks a little bit more generic. That said, my body reacted in a way when I saw the video of him coming like down the ramp, like for his entrance, of just like, oh,
How did it react?
like positively,
How so?
it's positively. You're asking a lot of weird questions.
Like, did you
Furry.
smile?
I mean, probably. Just kind of blacked out for a minute. But no, he had a great match with Jack Gallagher. The belly to belly suplexes, and then like the jump over and like pick him up and do it again.
Yeah.
Into the like bridging full Nelt. Like he's so good, and I'm excited to see him on a platform that like
Embraces it,
that actually
showcases
embraces wrestling, as opposed like. And then it's just one of those things. It's like, man, Buddy Murphy,
Those two.
Cedric
yeah.
Alexander. Like,
So
what happened?
Is Drew Gulak now officially back on NXT permanently, or is this just a? Because I know
No,
he's
he was
fighting-
on. He was on 205
Because
Live
he was
last
on
night.
205 Live last night
Was
too.
he?
I think he might kind of be floating. I don't know if he's. Maybe that's the wild. Maybe the wild card
Works for
applies to
everything.
NXT and 205 Live too. Like
'Cause,
anybody can
who's
show
he
up anywhere.
Who's he fighting on NXT?
It
I think-
was
Kushida.
Humberto. It was
yeah, Kushida. Yeah.
Wasn't he in that 4-way?
Well,
Kushida?
the match that I saw.
Oh,
No, Gulak.
Gulak was in that 4-way match with also the.
He was in the match. Oh, that was NXT. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
This is.
He asked me who he was feuding with in NXT, and I said
Yeah.
he was fighting with Kushida.
so he-
Because I saw a promo video of him versus Kushida, and I was like, "Man, who is this guy going against Kushida? Like, this is a good promo. He looks badass. Oh, that's Drew Gulak. I didn't know he was so badass.
Because him with long hair and a mustache kind of looks like Elias Sampson. Not Elias Sampson. Silas Young.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because I just realized Elias Sampson was Elias, and I just started putting sounds together wrong.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I
So
call
yeah,
him
because he
sentences.
had a match on NXT and it was Kushida, and then he was in the main. I think it was the main event of 205 Live, which was Humberto Carrillo,
Yeah.
Drew
Tozawa.
Gulak, Tozawa, and Oni Lorcan.
Yeah.
Because Oni is another one who's kind of floating between 205 and NXT.
And I love Oni Lorcan, but like 205 Live is like his perfect spot.
Him on Twitter,
Oh yeah.
it's just all caps yelling about who he wants to fight.
Yeah. I love
That's
Oni
manly,
Lorcan.
man, right there. I feel like I really need to get the network back just so I can watch NXT and 205 Live.
It's on Hulu, I'm pretty sure.
Both of them.
I'm pretty
NXT
sure.
is, but it's like there's a delay on it. I'm not sure how it works.
It's like a one-day
Cody
delay.
will have to let us know because I know he
He
watches
on
it
there.
through Hulu.
I feel like that would be my happy spot for wrestling.
You have
because
Hulu, Alley?
it's
I'm gonna pull it up on my phone because I
Thank
do.
you.
it's just that like great wrestling and still high production values and weekly show. Like I feel like that would be if I want to watch wrestling every week, but I don't want to get mad at it. I feel like those shows would really make me happy.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
Speaking of NXT, I found an amazing new Instagram follow through a Major Wrestling Figure podcast. Cassius Ono is doing an Instagram now for his wrestling collectibles, which is amazing because it's Chris Hero and his wrestling stuff. And it's KO Lection. They were
Some
explaining.
Mortal Kombat. Also, 205 Live is on Hulu.
Yeah. But just the,
Boo.
it's collection.
Collection.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Ed Boon will sue somebody. All right, well, that's the part of the show where we talk about the news, and we're only 30 minutes in.
That's
It
good.
was a light week.
It was a
It's
very
a light week,
week.
and I feel like it's a low energy kind of night. I don't know why. I feel that way. I'm sorry.
I'm
like-
hungry.
I think I'm just like, I got a case of the saddies.
Sunday beat the hell out of me, and I'm still rebounding from that. So
So let's talk about Raw and SmackDown.
Looks like it's the full show too. 48 minutes.
What's that?
205 Live on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Minus commercials. The 48 minutes.
Well,
So
I mean,
don't-
because there are commercials, but they don't.
that doesn't
that
attach
doesn't.
at the time, yeah.
Yep.
I got you. All right, so Raw and SmackDown. Let's start off by talking about Sexy Bray Wyatt. Why'd I say that?
I just realized I didn't see Firefly Funhouse this week.
it was okay.
It was okay.
I
It's
skipped the recap because it's one of those things where it's like I want to know as little going into it as possible.
Ooh, do you not want us to talk about
No,
it?
no, I mean, no, of course not. Like, go ahead and talk about it. It's just because what I do is because I don't watch it live, I always end up watching those segments on YouTube.
Yeah.
So usually my morning goes when I get to work, I turn on my computer, I get logged into everything, and then I go to the site that I use to read the recap of Raw, and then I go and watch the parts that I think are either important or I just found interesting. But anytime they get to Firefly Funhouse, I always skip.
Because you want to watch it.
Because I want to, like, I don't want to know anything going in. I just want to, like, all right, here we go. What's this going to be?
So, what was the theory that you were going by about what Firefly Funhouse is? Like, this is what he thinks of, like, a...
This is what he thinks that, like, this is what he's trying to appeal to children for whatever nefarious probably reason. And so this Firefly Funhouse is what he thinks children enjoy, and that this is what he thinks a kid's show would be.
Okay, so I think that that is very much what it is, but now it is kind of going into the... But this is all in his head. Like, he's not producing this to anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, we are just now seeing his inner thoughts.
Oh, I hope not. Because WWE has done stuff like this before, and it's always that reality breaking. Like, remember when Vince McMahon stuck his head in the stroller to talk to the baby? And
because, and the only reason I'm saying that is because now he is slowly but surely losing...
his mind?
Yes, because, like, Rambling Rabbit and Mercy again are at it, and Mercy's trying to eat him.
They're feuding.
Yeah, they're feuding. He's trying to eat him again.
That's the feud in Firefly Funhouse.
And, like, Bray breaks it up and says, do I need to get the Fiend to settle it? And it like the Fiend was there to protect everybody. That was kind of like what he was telling. Mm-hmm. Although they apparently don't like his protection. This is like some APA levels of bullshit.
They're scared of the Fiend.
Yup. So he puts the like hand. He's like, we'll let Fate. Yeah, the Fiend decide. So he puts the hands up, and apparently it was heel. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Rabbit, we're gonna let you air everything you want to say." And it starts with he says something. And he's like, "I think I should expose what's actually been going on here." And then Bray Wyatt takes a Harley Quinn-esque mallet and smashes Rambling Rabbit, which means if we see him again next week, it's definitely in his fucking head.
I think you're missing a couple key points,
he
though.
was eaten before and was fine. He just had the Band-Aid.
Yeah,
so.
But then Bray Wyatt made breakfast jelly out of him.
Yeah, he had.
I did see that. There was it was like Ramblin' Rabbit's breakfast spread.
Yeah, Bohemian breakfast spread or something like that. Yeah.
See, I thought this one reached too much into like cartoon levels of comedy than the dancing segment was. Like, to me, this one was kind of the weakest one, except for that one line where Rambling Rabbit says, it's what you said basically. It's like, I think, do you want me to tell everybody what's really going on around here? And then Bray Wyatt gets really serious and he goes, then why'd you have to go and say that? And that's when he grabs him, and like you could tell something flipped in his head. Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm going to the whole thing of like, this isn't, he is not making a show. This is literally his inner psyche. Mm-hmm. And this is like, somebody was trying to fix him.
I would need to see it, but it's like, he could be like he could be making the show, but you know, even though he's doing the voices of all of them clearly, he's not fully in control. Like, this is still, and that's kind of
because we didn't see Sister Abby at all.
But there were Abby the Witch.
Abby the Witch, yeah.
Casual. That is one of the other theories, though, is this is all, like, that is a theory that's been going on, though, is it's in his head, because this is part of his treatment.
Yeah, I think, like, that is now coming out more because of this week's episode.
Because if you go to his, like, Twitter account from when he first got taken off TV, there's all these weird, like, it's like doctor's notes from, it's like Mercy Hospital, is what I think is what it was.
Mercy?
Yeah. But it's, like, doctor's notes that have been leaked about his like treatment.
Somebody gonna get fired,
and it's real creepy.
Well, like I remember when they first started, they talked about how much of that was like actual treatment that they would use for PTSD patients. Mm-hmm. So I was really hoping that it was just therapy that he was going through.
Yeah.
But whenever shit like this happens, where the rabbit says literally, "You want me to tell people what's really going on around here?" and then he crushes them with a giant cartoon hammer and turns them into jelly, mm-hmm. It really knocks that theory of, oh no, this is all really happening and it's just kind of twisted. It really has hit a cartoon level, but he'll be back next week and they probably won't address it.
That said, that is very kid show though. Like, there's no consequences. Stuff just kind of happens. And also, like, okay, well, I have to so you're threatening this thing that I'm trying to do. I can't, if I just go full, like, psychopath on the rabbit, that's going to expose myself. So he has to do it in a cartoony way, like with the mallet.
Oh, the head of that mallet also had the Fiend's face on it, like painted on.
So it's, so it's very much just like, oh yeah, no, you messed up for real, and I have to deal with you for real, but I have to disguise it in a way that it's not going to scare the children.
Now I need to.
Now I'm making you into a funny bunny spread. Like,
I need to have clarification now on whether or not these puppets are supposed to be real separate entities, mm-hmm. or if they are actually puppets,
or if they're all in his head, or
like, and I don't want it to be all in his head, because as cool, I think that's a really cool thing, but I don't like it when they take these.
It was all a dream.
I don't like those segments. It's like Matt Hardy. Whenever, and we said it before, whenever Matt would do the Matt stuff and the real world would suddenly become Matt's world and Big Lee's world, where everything has this different set of rules that aren't real. No longer is the real world interacting with the psychopath, but now it's the psychopath's reality is reality, but only for now. And I hate if they're going to do that with Bray Wyatt. We're like, we can actually see inside of his thoughts. No, we can't. No, we fucking can't. I didn't like it when Hogan was the only one that could see the Warrior in the mirror, and I don't like it when we're just broadcasting Bray Wyatt's thoughts out like the goddamn machine on Batman Forever.
I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what I think it is because of this week's episode.
I'm thinking they're never gonna
they just
clarify
wanna address-
it.
yeah, it's-
they'll never justify. They'll just have. Eventually, they'll stop the show. He'll start wrestling, and they'll never talk about
Truly
it.
address it, yeah.
And that is the most frustrating thing.
Because you have something so cool
'Cause now
going
it's-
on.
yeah.
Right. It's like they almost got into this with no exit plan. They were just like, every week they're like, what can we do? Okay, but how are we going to explain it? Do we have to explain it?
It's Emelina, but with a cool twist.
And he tweeted something about like along the lines of like he should be like debuting soon.
Yeah.
Is what it is like this. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Because like he was supposed to debut a couple weeks ago, but that's whenever JoJo had the complications with the childbirth. That was the rumor.
Yeah.
My theory on this is that over the next couple weeks, he's going to kill off each one of the puppets one by one until there's no one left. And then when there's no one left, that's when he'll debut.
I can't believe we're delving this deep into this on a wrestling show.
I want to make you smile. I'm glad I have, but please don't be silly enough to forget what I can do when I want to. When will you all learn to never doubt me? What we do from now on will change everything. Promise. I've had too much time to think. No mistakes. Too much time with too many critics rambling about what I am capable of. You will see. This time is different. I'm not afraid anymore. I have Fiend now, and Fiend is ready. Yowie wowie. I'll pray for you. XOXO Bray.
Boy, that seems so thrown together.
I mean, that's just, those are from his Twitter. It's not like it's, you know.
Oh, so that wasn't one just
No.
giant message?
No, that was like two,
Okay.
those were two back-to-back tweets.
I said that did not seem like that. That was way over 140.
That was
characters.
really rambling.
Well, I
right-
mean, it's
right
280
there.
now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they doubled it
Oh,
For Trump.
like 3 weeks ago, or like 3 years ago.
I don't use Twitter a lot.
Clearly.
Me neither. I'm not a fan of Twitter.
That's not that I'm not a fan of it. I just don't.
Y'all
Like,
social media impacts are low.
Whenever I do finally check Twitter, it always says I have like 94 notifications, but
and
none
they're
of
all
them-
CCW.
none of them for me. Yeah, it's either CCW or Kevin Huntsberger posted a tweet. Cool. What's Kevin thinking about this tonight?
Well, it's usually about something in response to the show.
Yeah, usually it's something that we probably should read.
Oh no, I get just whenever he tweets, I get a notification.
Oh yeah, I started like I've been trying to turn those off because like I don't like you had 2 friends tweet and I was like I have a lot of friends tweet like
Yeah, I don't need
that's
to
why
know
I'm
about
on
them.
Twitter.
Did anything else happen to Raw? I think that was the only thing.
I mean there was some other stuff.
Oh no, shit! I forgot about the most important thing. So, is that Marco?
Marco has a shoot interview that he just got a DVD release for. It's called Short Stories. Marco Stunt shoot interview. Son of a bitch, that is hilarious.
That's pretty early for a shoot interview,
God, no. But it's
Is
called
it about
Short-
us?
right? It's about his first day of school. Anyway, so I was watching E3, and I turned off E3 just to see what was on Raw because I was getting bored at E3, and I turned it right on to Shane McMahon, and I cannot believe how much they're building up Shane McMahon as this legitimate thing in the year of our Lord Keanu Reeves 2019. That Shane McMahon is like a focal point of the show. Remember when we used to be
Both shows.
and we used to be kind of a fan of it, and we were like, oh, well, they bust him out occasionally when they need to do something cool. And he had a pretty cool match with AJ Styles. He kind of had a decent thing with The Undertaker. But now they're going like full insane, where he's beaten The Miz multiple times. He's beat Roman Reigns. He's the best in the world. I don't know where the buck stops for Shane McMahon. Money, money, money. Here comes the money.
Well, and the ratings are
Here we go.
reflecting that he's the best.
Well, he's the best in the world because he won that tournament.
Yeah.
I wonder what the ratings are for his segments, because the crowd was chanting boring on Monday. Legit. Like they
there's-
started chanting boring. And Shane McMahon's response to that was like, it was something like, I could do this all night.
Yeah,
Like he
I've
was
got all the time in the
instigating it.
world.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's that thing of it's hard to tell, like, is this legitimate? Like, no, this is not a thing that we, like, this is us not enjoying your product, or is this the crowd going along with the heel?
Yeah.
Like, it's the Baron Corbin argument of, is Baron Corbin good at his job or bad at his job? And it's because
it's so hard to tell when people boo you.
Because there is such a thing as go away heat.
Yeah, X-Pac
like there
heat.
is the wrong kind of like, oh, if I see Shane McMahon on my TV, I'm going to change the channel because
That's what I do.
I'm not engaged in this character.
Yeah.
Like whereas you have someone like Sami Zayn who people are booing the hell out of, but they're engaged with what he's saying and like they care about like the message that he's putting across because they don't agree with it.
Yeah, being a heel is hard because you have to walk this fine line of being the bad guy, but you can't be a great bad guy because if you're a great bad guy, people might actually stop
It's the Saturday Night Live bit of, all right, we are at the superhero or the supervillain competition.
Oh, the evil creators?
I have made a device that will it'll never stop snowing. I've made and it's The Rock.
Yeah.
I have made a child molesting robot.
Everyone looks on in fear.
What?
Yeah, in disgust.
It's like, well, I mean, this is a competition for the most evil invention, and
Right.
this robot molests children.
Robo Chomo.
Robochomo. Yeah.
It's that
He
thing.
molests twice the amount of kids, and quite frankly, half the time.
Yeah, we
How
need
do
you to be evil.
Build a child molesting robot
Well, you make a regular robot, and then you molest it.
and hope it continues.
It's the cycle.
Yeah.
You know,
We got an eye roll from Allie.
Finally some energy. Thank you, Rock. But yeah, so Shane McMahon is like, go out there and be the biggest asshole you can, and then he does, and then he gets a boring chant, and it's that SNL skit where you tell a funny joke, and then someone goes, ha ha.
It's
and you don't know if it's because you said something funny or if they're doing a Simpsons thing.
It was a White Castle commercial at the end of it. God, that was the perfect skit.
I want some White Castle. Want to do White Castle night?
It was that really dumb side.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I love it. So
I
much.
wasn't reacting to you. I was reacting to him saying he was going to go to White Castle.
I was there a couple months ago.
No, not the food White Castle. The White Castle of Fear. Van Vader's.
See, it was different.
Yeah. It's
The
a wrestling joke.
have you are you not really not going to talk about the tag team match?
Nope. What's
I mean, they
that?
needed to get the belts off of them.
They did a thing that I actually kind of appreciate that people pointed out like a flaw in the logic of the match was originally Ryder and Hawkins versus the Revival, but the Revival lost against the Usos. So it's like, why are they the ones getting the match? And then it's like, oh, this is a reward for they went out to celebrate with Shane and Drew Drew, and he's like, no, you bring some
title
gold.
match.
You bring some gold, and then we'll, because it kind of was implied that them working with Shane got them that title match, even though they didn't earn it.
Right.
Yeah.
Classic heel.
Yeah,
Like that's
that's
heel
good
101.
stuff. That's good stuff.
And then the Usos were last minute additions to that match because they actually had a win over the Revival.
And I feel so bad for Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins because they're so good. And I knew this title reign wouldn't last
It was
long.
pretty, especially once like the Viking Raiders just kind of disappeared off TV.
Yeah.
After obliterating them, and then
Right.
they
Yeah.
just kind of vanished. Also, like AOP, and just there's you have this just such stacked roster, and
But
no
instead,
one's
you have to spend 40 minutes on Shane McMahon.
yeah.
I think it was one of those. I was talking about it with Sadie. I was like, I think they only put the belts on them mainly because
They have made Mattel a lot of money in the last year. Like their podcast, has made Mattel a lot of gave them a lot of
Well,
recognition.
yeah, because they are giving Mattel a lot of money to buy all their toys.
to buy
the
yeah.
toys.
Mattel was hurting for money. Name one franchise they've got.
Well, their DC line kind of sucks, but
They have Barbie.
they're very much the goodwill ambassadors of WWE too, where it's just these are company guys that pretty much do everything they're asked.
Yeah.
And all right, cool, we're going to reward that. And you've also made our toy division way more popular than it was in the last.
Also, we can finally
years.
pull the trigger on this golden bullet of who is Kurt Hawkins gonna finally beat? Revival.
But it didn't lead to anything. It was just they
led
lost
to-
to him.
It was almost like a meaningless.
Yeah.
Now
Gesture.
now they have that hanging over them still though. Of
It was like
yeah, but it's hard. It's one of those things. If you have something hanging over you, that's fine. You have a title belt.
how long? Well, Zack Ryder.
well, it
and
worked
Kurt
so well
Hawkins
from
had
the first
title.
time.
Hawkins and Ryder had the title belt, and what did that do for them?
Like just a couple weeks ago, Dawson was like, "Oh yeah, we were the Raw Tag Team Champions." Because it was such a meaningless run.
Just like Hawkins and Ryder.
Hopefully now that they're associated with Shane, they'll get some sort of focus, but it's heartbreaking that that's the reason that we have to be hopeful of how they're going to be treated.
So what happens to Hawkins and Ryder at this point?
Main event.
Where they were 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you think Ryder will get a bigger push than Hawkins, or do you think they're both just?
I think they're going to
entry
stay.
level?
I bet they're going to stay as a tag team, and just nothing's going to they might start chasing R-Truth.
Yeah, that's a prime spot for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be with some greats. EC3's in there. Drake
Cedric
Maverick,
Alexander,
Cedric Alexander, Bobby Roode,
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, So they're in good company.
But I say the only good thing about them is they're making money independent of WWE right now.
We also had the.
That's true. Zack Ryder is on the. I swear to God, Zack Ryder is on the forefront of like evolution when it comes to WWE. The whole reason that they have a YouTube channel and stuff is because Zack Ryder paved the way. Honest to God, he did. His Z True Island Long Island IC story that revolutionized. How much of that did I get wrong?
Yo, you stumbled. You stumbled through that like a drunk man on Broadway.
Okay.
You just repeated a lot of the same words.
I apologize.
It's fine.
But he really did revolutionize the whole thing, the industry, with his content. Like, that wasn't a thing before Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
And then everyone took it, and everyone's been very successful with it. And Zack Ryder does not get the credit he deserves for that. So
Now he's doing it. Now he's doing it again with Hawkins.
He is,
with
and they're doing it all over again. Zack Ryder is pretty ingenious for such a dum-dum. He's pretty ingenious.
But now they have pro wrestling tees. Like now they're actually able. Like now they're making money independent of WWE.
With that Stomp in
Well,
Paradise.
they're independent contractors, so.
Yeah, they
it's totally
wouldn't
allowed.
have any part of it anyway. Yeah, that's very true.
Other thing was Miz TV. He interviewed Samoa Joe. Joe claiming he won the United States Championship, even though Rey Mysterio relinquished the belt to him. Then you had Strowman come out. Then you had Ricochet come out. Then you had Cesaro come out, and it looked like he was going to say something, but then he just sucker punches Ricochet in the face.
That's great.
Yeah, that was pretty great. Lashley came out to interrupt Strowman because he still has beef with him.
I'm really excited for Lashley. I'm happy for him after the Microsoft press conference. I didn't think I was going to get another Battletoads game.
There it is.
And
Get it.
he's the fourth Battletoad.
Eczema.
Are you proud of yourself?
Eczema.
God damn it!
It's a Tim Geddes joke. I gotta give credit where that's due.
Good stuff. Good
yeah,
stuff.
so
That's good shit.
that was kind of funny because Ricochet and
Scooper.
Cesaro have been having really good matches on Raw.
Yeah.
They did a thing where they're doing an injury angle with where Ricochet hurt Cesaro coming down off of a 630.
Is that an angle? I thought he really did hurt him.
As far Meltzer's,
turned it into an
angle. Meltzer's reporting that it's a work.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Like it,
Can't
okay.
break abs like that, Shannon.
Well,
He's the Swiss
well, he
Superman.
landed on his ankle, but then Cesaro came up holding his knee, and then he was helped. Like
That's how hard he hit him, Shannon.
In that video that I showed you earlier with the boxing, we didn't get to watch one where the guy he gets headbutted. He says he gets headbutted on his left temple, and when he gets up, it's like first round of the fight. He gets up and he's holding the right side of his face, and he's complaining to the doctor. And then halfway through, he switches over to the left. He talks about how he can't see out of his left eye, and the announcers actually replay it. The commentators replay it and show there was no contact. That he clearly is holding the wrong eye, and it's just embarrassing. I know it has nothing to do with this really, but like
LeBron James boxed a match.
Yeah, but then who was it that just whose leg literally exploded off of his face? What was it?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Ooh, that was bad.
There's a video from the finals where Kevin Durant had a calf muscle and then shifted and then didn't have a calf muscle
Well,
anymore.
wasn't he already hurt? Or did
I
he?
think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then someone shot Big Papi. What the hell's going on in the sports world?
David Ortiz from the Boston Red Sox got shot. Former Boston Red Sox. He retired.
Somebody
Like recently, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
a
a
couple
week
days
ago.
ago, someone literally paid people money. He was at a bar in I forget where he was. He was at a bar, and there's video of the guys just walk up behind him and shoot him and walk off because they were.
Did
paid
he
to-
die?
No, he survived.
Okay.
He had to go through 2 surgeries. Thank God.
Jesus.
But yeah, man, what is going on? Anyway,
That's all the stuff from Raw. Like other than Seth Rollins continuing, they did the Sami Zayn is Baron Corbin's going to get a rematch against Seth Rollins at Stomping Grounds. But he's going to get to pick the referee because John Cone cost him the match at Showdown. Sami Zayn is like campaigning to be the referee, so they had a match. There was a match there.
it was him and Owens, wasn't it, with Sammy as the ref?
It was, Rollins and Owens, and Sammy was the outside. He was the outside special
That's what it
ref.
was,
He
yeah.
was like a
Yeah.
backup ref in case the first ref was incapacitated.
And that happens in wrestling. You can breathe on those guys, and they'll be out
Made of glass.
cold.
Made
Yeah.
of glass.
Except Lane
SmackDown.
Austin, solid muscle.
No, I've seen him get super kicked before. Went down like a bitch.
Muscles, no, it's not in his chin though. He's got a
Oh,
glass.
fair enough.
He's got a glass jaw.
Well, Jay super kicked him in the throat.
SmackDown had Big E returned to actual like wrestling. He competed 6-man tag,
Which is pretty good for somebody that just messed up their knee.
I mean, he had a torn meniscus.
Yeah.
And he's been. But he's been out for a while.
it has been a while.
It just feels like it feels longer or it feels shorter because he's been so entertaining on Twitter.
yeah. Although
It feels like he never left.
it's easy to be entertaining on Twitter when you're going after Becky Lynch's mom. When Becky Lynch's mom looks like that.
But it was the 6-man tag between, it was New Day against Owens, Zayn, and Ziggler. It's going to be a cage match at Stomping Grounds between Ziggler and Kofi. That was the big thing of, it's like, you won't have anyone there to help you. And Kofi's like, well, you got nowhere to run. So I am excited for that match.
In a WWE steel cage where it stays completely one-on-one.
Exactly.
The entire time.
Always.
I really like that they're helping make Kofi look strong for Shane
Yeah, so it'll
You
be
know?
more impressive when
Shane beats him.
when Brock cashes in on Kofi. Either way, this championship ends in me like going on suicide watch probably.
Yeah, Kofi Kingston is probably like, he's already said goodbye to the belt. Like, he doesn't even travel with it anymore. He's
He
like,
cares
just
more
hold
about the
on to
up, down, down championship
Yeah,
because that's when he knows he has a hope of
it.
holding
Ain't no
on
one taking
to.
that from him.
We got Alexa Bliss continuing to manipulate Nikki Cross into wrestling Bailey because it's Bailey versus Alexa at Stomping Grounds.
Which I guess so much for the face turn for Alexa.
Yeah, that's,
Which apparently, so I read that part of the reason Alexa's been thrown into this was because I don't think we reported this, that Andrade's mother passed away,
yes.
and he is taking a little bit of time off in Charlotte with him. And I think that where I read was that kind of opened a spot they needed someone to fill, so they put Alexa in it, which makes me wonder if maybe they canceled her face turn because of this, and now she's kind of wiggling. Because that whole coffee thing, it wasn't a straight up face turn, but that was the seeds right there, and
Well,
I don't
I
feel
mean,
like they followed up on it.
It was more of like she coming to Nikki Cross's aid against the Iconics, and then that just went.
It's still going.
because it literally
Yeah.
seemed like that was going. Well, it's not. Now the Iconics weren't.
Well, no, I
on
mean with
Raw
her
or
and Nikki
SmackDown.
Cross. That
Oh,
they're
yeah,
continuing
yeah.
with the Nikki Cross
Yeah.
connection.
And it maybe I don't know, but the where was I? There's
Sorry.
something else. Oh, tag team
So sorry.
championships. It's the Planet's champions and Heavy Machinery are feuding. They said Brian and Rowan said that they were going to challenge the YOLO Centerweight Championship or something like that. It was two guys literally with cardboard championships.
Now, one of those guys
AJ Kirsch.
voices Buzz from 2K19. 'Cause
Really?
He's a legit wrestler.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because I saw that, and because like that was a big thing. In, like
He apparently was also played a big role in Becky Lynch meeting that fan. There's a physically and mentally disabled fan who like lost. He had a ton of wrestling memorabilia, and it was all like lost in a fire. And so they like he teamed up with WWE to help him. Like they just gave him a just bunch of stuff to like make out, and he got to meet
WWE did?
Yeah, and he got to meet Becky Lynch, and he was there part of that too.
God, see, it's stuff like that. When you get so mad at WWE for the dumb shit they do, you
But
hear
then
stuff
they
like
also
that.
do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. Becky wasn't at Saudi Arabia. We can just say that was on her.
I like her.
Would you say she's the man?
She can be whatever she wants to be.
Trying
You're
to
as
think,
good as any man.
Tag
Terrible.
title, WWE title.
Well, what would you say?
Camera 3. I wouldn't say anything.
I love that we are now just doing an entire bit
I
to
would
make sure.
listen.
Well, you gotta let Allie get the.
Because I'm the only one that paid attention to the wrestling this week.
Yeah,
No, I have Dominion.
Did
I watched E3.
I did too. Was Balor on SmackDown?
I don't think so.
I don't recall seeing Balor at all.
Yeah, I don't think he was on SmackDown because I'm like going through the championship stuff. Ember Moon got her switch knocked out of her hands.
Like an actual Switch?
Yeah, she was playing Switch backstage, and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville called her a nerd, and then Sonya Deville knocked it out of her hand.
God, if I didn't love Sonya and Mandy so much, I would call them the B word. Bad friends.
That's all I'm really remembering from SmackDown.
That's
anyway.
fine. We're at an hour anyway. Let's get through this Dominion bullshit and go home.
Before we do, I want to talk about Impact.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Because like
Good.
for all the shit we talk about WWE and like how good Impact has been, we don't talk about it enough on here.
Right. Well,
but-
because there's never a lot of stories that come out about it, and at the same time, we don't recap the
I mean,
show
well,
like we do Raw
and that's the thing is
SmackDown.
like so
Yeah.
from that for like going forward, I want to start recapping Impact as well.
Shit, we gotta start watching Impact. man.
You start watching WWE.
I'd rather watch Impact.
That's good. They had their Impact Plus special, Night Not to Be Missed.
Is this like a one night only type thing?
Yeah, because they kind of do kind of like not quite full pay-per-views, but they are like exclusives to their streamings because you can watch them live on Friday nights on Twitch, but you can also watch on their streaming service. And so they had their. Who are you? Please reload the page in a few minutes. What?
Did it say who are you?
Yeah, I literally pulled up I pulled up the results page on Impact's website. Damn it, Impact! I'm trying to trying to throw you a bone here. And literally it says, "Who are you? Please reload this page in a few minutes."
They probably think you're an admin.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Please reload this page in few minutes. Son of a bitch.
What's
So it was-
CCW and Impact got the same web
It was
people.
it was a
GoDaddy?
night you can't miss because it had the great Muda.
Muda,
It
yeah.
had a great Muda. But that was a solid show. It was supposed to have Joey Ryan versus Billy Gunn, but Billy Gunn had to pull out because of travel issues. So D'Lo Brown ended up taking the dick flip.
Wait.
He's
I
messing
thought-
with the
I
real
thought
deal now.
I thought Billy Gunn was signed to AEW.
He is, but I mean, again, there's kind of a working thing there, like that, and that may have just been since it was a one-off match. We don't know how these contracts work at all.
Right.
Brian, but so they're leading up to Slammiversary, which is July 7th. It looks like it's going to be a really good show so far. We're going to have Brian Cage, who is cleared to wrestle, but like as far as Impact goes, he's okay. Like he's rehabbing and he's working out, but he can't compete.
Is this storyline or real?
Storyline?
Okay.
But because he legitimately got hurt at it's not Dominion, that's New Japan. Retribution, whatever their last pay-per-view
I think it was
was.
Retribution, yeah.
Whatever their last pay-per-view was, he took that Spanish Fly off the stage.
Oh yeah.
And he hurt his back there, and then Elgin debuted, hit him with the buckle bomb, and so that's actually been kind of a mini feud, is Johnny Impact and Elgin trying to take credit for who hurt Cage. So it's Elgin versus Cage for the Impact Championship. It's going to have Johnny Impact versus Rich Swann for the X Division Championship, which Rich Swann has, as good as he has entirely stepped up his game.
Ever since leaving WWE.
Even just like compared to when he first signed with Impact.
Okay, yeah.
Like over the last few months, like he has, from his look to his promos to his interviews to his matches, like Rich Swann he's proven that he can carry a brand, which I don't know if people would have thought he could do that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, even whenever they gave him the cruiserweight belt, it was only for a couple weeks.
Because I went back and I read like 5 weeks worth of results from Impact over the last couple days, because I had that thought of just like, man, we don't talk about Impact. We don't, because again, they're making really good moves and they're putting out a good product. We just never talk about it, and I feel like that's kind of a disservice. So, but like he has, him and Willie Mack have really kind of stepped up in the main event face role since Cage is out. And then like Killer Cross is doing some cool stuff, although they're still doing the Undead Realm with Rosemary and Su Yung. Rosemary beat Su Yung in a like dog strap match, but now she had Su Yung literally like just, she walks around on a leash because she is in control of her now. But then this past week, Jessica Havoc made her return and seems to have aligned with James Mitchell, and so they kind of like freed Su Yung. But it's all just kind of like, we want Rosemary to feud with people.
Yeah.
So,
Boy, I don't like that.
Sammy Callahan has kind of stepped in to Disco Inferno's random misogynist shoes.
I was going to ask if Glenn Gilberti was still doing stuff over there.
I think he's still a producer, but he's not on screen anymore, or at least he wasn't like the last couple times. But now it's Sammy Callahan and OVE.
Is it still against Scarlett Bordeaux?
Yes, because it was her. I
love that name.
It was the Chris
Scarlett Bordeaux.
It was the Chris brothers against Falaba and Scarlett Bordeaux, and then they lost. So then Sammy was like railing on OVE and told him like, okay, we'll hold her up, super like kick her, like beat the shit out of her. And as they were getting ready to, Tessa Blanchard came out and made the save, which like she's the one who ended up beating Glenn Gilberti. And so now it looks like it's transitioning to Sammy and Tessa, which I would be more on board with if it wasn't the forced misogyny, because it really kind of came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like he went from feuding with Eddie Edwards.
You think it would have been better if it had been Glenn still?
No, because
From a
that's
storyline
done.
standpoint?
Because that's done. Like she's already beaten him.
Yeah.
So like now we're done. And also I was really uncomfortable with that because like he seems to genuinely hold those views. So now it's just, turn your misogyny up to 11 on TV, and then you'll end up losing to a woman.
Nowadays, I can't even tell anymore because I think the same thing. That is part of his views. But then when I read when I read interviews people like wrestlers do, and they push that same line like in the storyline stuff, now I can't tell.
Yeah.
Are
And
they-
maybe I'm getting worked. Like, that's a general.
You don't know anymore.
But it's that thing of, it's like, man, is that a thing that you want me? Because now,
Is that something you want to be worked
'cause
about?
now that he's off TV and like he hasn't really learned a lesson,
Right.
like, okay, well now he's just a misogynist, just off TV,
Unless he comes back out and defends,
like in Saves Tess or something. Which,
against
'cause,
Sammy.
like, yeah,
which is that a match you've been clamoring for in 2019 with Sammy Callahan versus Disco Inferno?
Nope.
No, but Sammy Callahan versus Tessa Blanchard kind of is now. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, now that I'm seeing these two wrestlers in the same space at the same time,
You wanted
yes,
them.
I do want to.
You
see
didn't
these-
know it.
I do want to see
Yeah.
these people wrestle.
That's how I felt about Scarlett and Disco. Except,
Except not.
Except the opposite.
And then the Rascals, they pinned LAX, but didn't, because it wasn't a legal man that made the pin, so the decision got thrown out. So it seemed that might be the new tag team feud.
I like
Which
the Rascals a whole lot.
I like but like both of those teams
Yeah.
can be kind of nuts. So Slammiversary is going to be like, they still got a few weeks to build towards Slammiversary and confirm some more matches, but I'm going to do more. I'm going to try to do more to stay more current with Impact, because again, like I think they are making a lot of good moves, and they're putting out more consistently better content than I would even say some of WWE stuff.
Yeah, when I hear you talk about wrestling that's not WWE, or at least not mainstream WWE like Raw, SmackDown, it makes me want to watch it because I miss watching wrestling, but I just
That said, there are
Raw
going,
and SmackDown are so exhausting.
but there will be elements of Impact that you will absolutely hate.
like the Sue Young stuff,
Yeah.
and I'll try it.
Even
I'll
like-
give it a try.
Like, I don't even know how you'll feel about like the Tessa Blanchard stuff, even though like if you are going to push this like intergender thing, because no other company is actively doing that right now.
she's a good pick for it.
Like, she's
Tough
a fan.
as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't like Sammy Callahan, but I think that's the point. And then we had New Dominion Tank Police. Dalton, you saw it over the weekend, and it's one of my favorite animes. It's got it's disturbing too.
Oh, I thought you screwed up. I thought you were trying to say New Japan.
Instead of
and you
New Dominion
combined,
Tank
like,
Police.
New-
No. This one was on purpose. Dalton, tell us about Asa. Did you watch Dominion? Did you catch up on it?
I caught up on like what had happened, but I didn't watch a bunch of it. So I was actually kind of pissed off because literally the next morning after we recorded PWU and they only had the 3 matches announced, they released the whole card.
Yep.
And it was like, son of a gun.
And it was a really, really good, like, it was Dominion. It's like their second, like, it's one of their big 4. You have Wrestle Kingdom, G1 Climax, and then Dominion. There's another one that I'm missing, I think. But it started off with Jon Moxley versus Shota Umino, I think is how I say it. And if I didn't,
Is it
say wrong.
UMINO?
UMINO?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Umino. Sweet.
Just real quick, that post-match interview
Was
that he-
amazing.
Also, is the highest viewed video on New Japan's YouTube page.
Is it?
It hit 3 million views in like 10 hours.
Good for them. So Moxley kills this dude. And then
Also, the fan art coming out of it
I haven't seen it yet.
is fantastic. It's like, Renee, I found one. Can I bring him home?
So he kills him, cuts a promo in the ring, and then takes him with him.
More importantly, cuts a promo in the ring announcing he wants in the G1.
Yeah, so he's going to be in G1. So he takes Shota with him and then goes, like, they do the post-match conferences all the time. He cuts the conference still holding Shota.
Because he carries him to the back.
Yeah, he carries him in the back, so he cuts the promo still holding him.
And he's just like,
Yeah, still selling
He's just-
the Death Rider, which I was just like, and this is why I'm so happy he's away from the WWE. It was a short match. It was a squash. Shingo versus Kojima. That was really good. The main thing coming out of that one is it's kind of like Shingo is going to be the guy that they're going to promote from junior to heavyweight, which I think he was very, like, he had an amazing, he came back in October and hasn't lost a match except for the end of Super Juniors to Ospreay. Jushin Thunder Liger was in a tag match with Suzuki Gun. That was a lot of fun. We had the big 6-man, like, Bullet Club versus, I think it was Chaos, or Guys in Chaos. Tomohiro Ishii beat Taichi for the Never Openweight Championship, which I like Ishii a lot. I think he's, like, one of the best wrestlers they have. Just, he's the Stone Pitbull.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just looks like the definition of a brick shit house. Guerrillas of Destiny still have the IWGP Championship, which that match was a lot of fun. Anytime Evil and Sonata and those two guys wrestle, it's a lot of fun.
real quick, it's also worth noting that apparently now there are only like 3 teams in the heavyweight tag team division. Someone like something got posted. Someone sent Davey Boy Smith Jr. a message like, "Hey, where's like you and Killer Elite Squad?" And he's like, "Apparently they don't want to. They're not trying to. They took their foot off the gas for KES and myself, even though Lance Archer was in the last year's G1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's just kind of a weird. But apparently, Davey Boy Smith was very vocal about how he was unhappy with the booking, and so this could be in
reference to that.
in reaction to.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're gonna talk shit, then talk shit, get shot.
Yeah. Which was bad for him because that's like his big booking.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, so those are the first 6 matches. The last 3 matches where everything just kind of got like really New Japan-y.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ospreay versus Dragon Lee. I watched that entire match like with my eyes half covered because they were just doing the most insane shit. Like anytime I watch Will Ospreay wrestle, I'm just like, yeah, no, Ace is completely right. Like Dynamite Kid. Like he just completely throws his body at anything.
And that's not even the worst match in that regard.
Mm-mm. And it was only one spot in fairness to the other one. Like, did we all see the German suplex off the apron that
I haven't seen it yet. I've
Naito
heard.
gave
Oh no,
Ibushi?
that
I've heard
was
stories.
it was the entire match though. Like there were multiple spots where it was just like, oh, these guys clearly do not care about their well-being. And like,
see, because like it's one of those that like that spot, and I think it was mainly because it was botched. But if you tell me which one do I think they did more dangerous stuff, I'm gonna give to Lee versus Ospreay because they did that. So Ospreay was sitting on the railing because you've seen Wrestle Kingdom, the way they have their setup where they have the ring, they have that steel guard railing, they have the announcer's table, and then they have like 10 to 15 feet of just dead space.
Yeah.
All right, so they do the same thing for Dominion. So Ospreay is sitting on that first like steel beam and Dragon like sitting up. Dragon Lee then does a suicide dive onto Ospreay, who is sitting up, and then they just go like onto the announcers. I saw that and I was like, that is a new level of what the hell. And like stuff like that, yeah, stuff like that.
I only say that because I thought the battery was going to last longer, and apparently it's got like 10 minutes left. So
Oh, gotcha. But I would say that match was more dangerous. But that whole German suplex where then Ibushi just got murdered on, kind of threw that all off. That being said, all the last 3 championship matches are definitely all go watches. But Naito and Ibushi was gross just because Ibushi got his head tilted on a German onto the outside.
Naito's gonna German your fucking head off on the outside.
Yeah, Brock, try that.
yeah,
Don't-
I mean, it looked like it snapped his neck.
yeah, it did. And it was one of those like,
And I don't mean whose fault was it, but like,
Yes.
oh really?
it shouldn't, it was a spot that didn't need to happen.
It's one of those things where, because New Japan as a whole, as a company, puts like allows their performers to do things that, yeah, you probably that shouldn't get okayed.
Mhm.
So stuff like that, where it's just like, I'm going to German you, even if it was like a miscommunication of one thought I was like it was going to go to the floor and the other thought it was going onto the apron. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's one of those like, you can say Ibushi didn't jump enough, then you can say Naito didn't throw him hard enough or threw him too hard. But at the same time, it's a yes because that is a spot that shouldn't happen.
Right.
And I know in Japan, like in Japan's like training, they train their necks a whole lot, which is why you see a lot more of like the landing on the neck. I don't care how much you train your neck. You shouldn't fall on it primarily.
Yeah, it's not supposed to. It doesn't matter because you're on $1 million baby yourself.
Yeah. So getting away from those two, the Okada Jericho match was a lot of fun. It did not end with a finisher. Okada just rolled him up the same way that.
It's how he beat Kenny, or it's how he beat Kenny in the first fall of their 2 out of 3.
But it was a single fall match, so now it can lead up to like. Jericho's still going for it because now Jericho's also in the G1, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Is that official?
I think so.
Because he had tweeted about it.
No, I think he also cut like a promo
Okay.
saying it.
Um,
Oh yeah, because he cut a promo saying like I won in your G1, and like calling this piece of shit country in Japan. Because then he said you want to cause shit with me, which is right along the same lines as that ref tried to fuck on me.
Yeah.
like it's just
But it was-
amazing misuse of that word.
but I don't think he. I don't think he is official in it yet. Because it's one of those things where like it would be very Jericho to like bluster and say that he's going to do it, but then not actually do it. Because G1 is a grueling like 3 weeks of just nonstop insane matches. Also worth noting that Jericho attacked Okada after he lost, and which is something that does not happen in Japan.
Unless it's Jericho.
I've seen Jericho do it before.
And-
yeah.
well,
That's all Jericho does.
No. I mean, to end the show.
Yeah.
Like, to close out a show, like, usually they are very much trying to send the crowd home happy.
Right.
And apparently, like, Jericho really kind of, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, when you don't do it every single show, it's impactful. If it doesn't happen all the time, when it finally does, like, oh, stuff is different.
I mean, but they did.
Because a lot of people were like, were very critical. Like, the live reaction apparently was very, very negative of, the match is over, what's going, like, no, this shouldn't be happening.
But I mean, that's also why they had Tanahashi at ringside to attack,
Right.
To retaliate against Jericho doing that. Good show. Watch the 3 championship matches if you're okay with seeing people murder themselves.
I am. I go to Live Leak.
Yeah, go watch that Kota Ibushi spot.
It's probably on Live Leak.
Probably. I mean, I got it on my phone. I can pull it up right now.
Live Leakamania.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and it's one of those things. It was like a 3.5 hour show. It was 9 matches, and I had wrestling the entire time, which I don't get that anymore. Like out of a mainstream product, so it made me happy.
I mean, you do on pay-per-views.
Do they give me 9 matches?
I mean, they give a lot of matches, and then there's hardly any like filler. Usually, pay-per-views are just wrestling.
Oh well, it was good wrestling.
Didn't mean to call you out there on that.
I
I'm
enjoyed.
not saying. I'm just saying.
I would not wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning to watch WWE at this point.
I would not be awake already and make the effort.
Oh no, we were texting each other during it.
Yeah, I just didn't know that was going on. I would have came over to your house. All right, we got to get out of here because we're running dry here. We're gonna be back tomorrow with Pro Wrestling Under Dark. Fuck.
Close enough.
I don't think that's true.
What is tomorrow's show called?
After
Podzilla
Dark.
After Dark, and we're gonna talk about something probably. Asa, hit us with those links.
Facebook.com/Podzilla1985, Twitter.com/Podzilla1985, Patreon.com/Podzilla1985. For $1, you get all the pre-shows. Pre-shows are fun. Give us your money.
And short.
Money, please.
Oh yeah, no, that's the end. All right, and go back to last night's show. We did a great show with Dalton, Asa, and Double H about E3, and I thought it was a lot of fun. So go check that out, and then we'll see you tomorrow for After Dark. Until then, later.